everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and today I have for you a very silly and fun video that I actually came up with the idea for months ago, and I just never got around to filming it, and I had a spare day open for Vedid, and I'm like, you know what? This video idea is gonna go there, and you can probably already tell from the title, but I have taken the D&D classes and found a book off my shelves, and in some cases my boyfriend's shelves, to recommend a book based on that class. So if you're someone who plays these classes a lot in D&D, maybe check out these books. I would like to apologize first and foremost that there's just a lot going on. There's stuff happening in the ground floor of my apartment building, which is right underneath my office. There's something happening outside. I'm gonna try and film around all of the noises that I've been hearing, but I know I'm not gonna be perfect at that, so if you hear weird stuff, we're just gonna ignore it and go on. So without any further ado, we're gonna start at the top of the list alphabetically with Artificer. So the book that I have chosen for The Artificer is actually Iron Widow by Shirin J. Zhao. I looked at my shelves for so long trying to think of a book to fit, and then I saw this and I'm like, oh, that's actually perfect. I feel like the blend of like science and magic in this book would just be perfect for anyone who likes to play an artificer, because if you didn't know, an artificer is someone who creates magical items, and I just think they would love Iron Widow. Next up we have Barbarian, and for this I have recommended Graceling by Kristen Kishore because our main character fights with her hands and is very brutal about it, and you learn why this is her fighting style, and I feel like a barbarian would really love reading the fight scenes in these. The fight scenes in this book are so well written. I usually kind of skip through fight scenes because they tend to get tedious, but I don't think that's the case with this book at all. Then we have The Bard, and for The Bard I have recommended one of my childhood favorite books, and that is Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, because this is a story about telling stories, and that's what bards do best, and I really think that a bard would be interested in the magic in this world, because the whole premise is that the main character, Meggie, her father can speak things out of stories when he reads them aloud, and I think a bard would just simply love that. The next class we have is actually Blood Hunter, which is not one of the main classes. It's one created by Matthew Mercer for the D&D world, and the book that I have chosen to recommend is actually a manga, and that is Chainsaw Man, one of my favorite manga series of all time, and I just feel like the blood in here would very much be up a blood hunter's alley, because there are devils in this world and they get their power through human blood, and blood hunters get their magic and their strength through blood, hence the name of the class, and I just think it's a really good fit. Then we come to my personal favorite class that I play most often, and that is Cleric. I just don't know what it is about clerics, but I think I play them maybe 70% of the time whenever I'm making a character, and the book that I have chosen for clerics is one of my favorite books, and that is Odin's Child by Siri Petterson. This is a high fantasy originally written in Norwegian but has since been translated into many, many languages, of which English is only one. And I have chosen this for cleric because our main character, Hirka, is how I pronounce it, Hirka. Not sure if that's the actual pronunciation because I don't speak Norwegian, but that's what it looks like to me. She is a healer, and if you know anything about clerics, you know that they're supposed to heal people, and I just thought it was a nice fit. The next class on the list is actually my second most played class, if I had to guess. It's the class that I just played in a campaign that recently finished up for me, and that is Druid, and I have gone for Uprooted by Naomi Novik because of the connection to nature that Druids have, and the core theme of this book has a lot to do with people's connection to nature and the land and their home, and I feel like it just goes very well with Druids, so if you play Druids, definitely pick this up. Up next is the Fighter class, and I've got for you another manga, and that is Demon Slayer. This is a series that follows Tanjiro. He slays demons, and there's a lot of different techniques in doing so. Like, there's this whole Demon Slayer organization, and different people study different breath types that like help them fight in different ways. Tanjiro follows the water breath type, and I just think the different technical aspects of the fighting that is shown in this series would really appeal to a fighter. We have finally passed the halfway mark. Our next class is Monk, and for that I would recommend the book Dread Nation for a similar reason to why I picked what I did for Barbarian and Fighter. I just think the fight scenes in this book and its sequel, and just the way that goes about happening, would really appeal to a monk's fighting style. I have played a monk exactly once. Didn't really go well. I was not used to the mechanics at all, and I feel like I flubbed a lot, but it was still pretty fun. But I just think that from what I know of monks, Dread Nation would be a good book for them to read and appreciate what happens in it. Up next we have Paladins, the holy warriors of the D&D world, and I would recommend The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, really any of the books in the series. This is just the most popular and most famous of them. I actually just finished my reread of this yesterday, and it's really got that holy aspect to it. And I would say that this is probably the least connected link between the class and the book that I'm picking, but I think it fits. We're just gonna go with it. Then we come to the Ranger, which is kind of an obvious choice for me, and I have gone with the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. This is book 2, The Burning Bridge, which I picked up because I don't have a cover on book 1, and so you would just be looking at a blank thing. This is a series that I have been reading throughout the entire year, so you've probably heard me talk about it quite a bit, and I actually have a couple more videos coming up later this month specifically dealing with this series, so keep an eye out for that if you've loved me talking about this throughout the year. But this series just follows Rangers, so obviously this is the book that I would recommend for Rangers to read. What other book could I have chosen? And the next class we're going to talk about are rogues, and rogues are very much loners, kind of by design. It's a pretty big feature of the class, and for this class I am going to recommend Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. We have 2 main characters in this book because we follow 2 different timelines, but the main timeline that we follow, I feel like the main character definitely fits this awkward loner type, and I just think it would be a very interesting book for a rogue to read. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on outside, but we are in the home stretch. We only have 3 more classes to go, the first of which is Sorcerer, and for this I am recommending the manga Jujutsu Kaisen, which translates to something like Jujutsu Sorcery or Jujutsu Sorcerers, something like that, which obviously it fits for a sorcerer then. The series follows Yuji, who becomes kind of involved in this world that he didn't know existed, fighting these curses, and I just think it fits for sorcery. The next class is Warlock, and for this I have recommended A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is a very long, middle grade, younger YA series, and it's all about children being miserable, hence why it's a series of unfortunate events. A lot of bad stuff happens to our main characters in this, and I feel like warlocks kind of get the bad end of the deal sometimes because they get their magic from making these deals with these powerful entities, and if they don't do what these entities want, then they usually get their magic taken away, and that does not sound like a good time, so I think they might appreciate these books. Okay, there has been a big truck just idling in front of my apartment building for 20 minutes now, and I don't want to wait any longer to finish this video, so I'm going to get this last class done, and then we're going to move on to the outro and be done with this. So the last class is, of course, Wizard, and for that I would recommend the Book of English Magic, which is one of the very few non-fiction books that I own. If you didn't know, wizards get their magic through studying and copying other spells into their spell book, and I think that studying English magic is exactly the sort of thing that a wizard would do, so it was a no-brainer putting this on here. And so we finally come to the end of this video. I'm not going to hold up the stack that is sitting right next to me because that's 14 books long and looks like it will fall over at any minute, and I don't want to push it. So that is the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments if you play D&D and which class you usually play, and if you would read the book that I recommended for that class. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.